Hey everybody, welcome to the final take. On this show today we have Jackass 3D, Nowhere Boy, Red, and Mezzarine, a crime epic. Should be very interesting.
Yes, we're also going to give you a classic review of the well-known Nicholas Ray film and a movie you really don't need to go see this weekend once again.
Alas, another 3D movie this weekend.
Yeah, those shades really don't suit you, dude.
And the first movie up on our list is Jackass 3D. No, there's no donkey involved, but this does bring back the whole gang of the Jackass series, including Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Bam Margera, and all the rest of the gang. Now with Jackass 3D, it kind of polarized me because it has the 3D element, which actually helps out this movie. Of course, many of the stunts are disgusting. Of course, many of the stunts are outrageous, and of course, you never do these stunts because you're not an idiot. But the fact is, we have come to see these things that we would never normally think of. And does it achieve that entertainment value that it needs? Yes and no. You could look at Jackass and you could just, you frown upon it because it is the lowest form of entertainment that possibly comes across in cinema these days. But you go and see it, and it made $50 million on the weekend, probably because of the up 3D prices. But the 3D does help, and I appreciate what the cast is doing here. Normally this would be a rented, but it really doesn't make sense to rent this movie because it's in 3D. So I'm going to give it one of the smallest see-its I've ever given on the show.
Small see-it.
Small see-it.
Skip it!
Oh.
3D has gotten you, sir. It has trapped you into this generosity that is unfair. No, but it's not really, like, I'm kind of with you, I will say. It was kind of like a weakish, like, sort of rented. But yeah, it's the thing that's running this movie is the 3D in a sense, which I don't think is spectacularly benefited, except for the opening and ending. Because the opening is always, they always parading and something's going on, but the 3D really helps that because they're popping out of you, so that was cool. Second one was surprisingly, you know, that thing just got better and better. And then when the third one comes along, I got like two things are in my mind. A, why are these guys look so much older, and when are they going to get married? When are they going to get wives? They literally have so much time on their hands. Like, what? Like, come on, guys, get a job. Let's do something effective. Yeah. And the second thing is just like, when you go to see a Jackass movie, you say, okay, here's one stunt, and it's going to get more and more outrageous. And then I just feel like it's like one thing and then downhill from there. I just didn't really feel like it gets more and more outrageous. There's a lot of letdowns, and I didn't think the stunts were that great. I think it had a couple of great finishing stunts, and you mentioned how these guys should go and get married. I don't know about you, but I don't think they're really appeal to any woman here. You know, just bathing in excrements all day.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know if I want to get anywhere close to that. But I think that it's such a fascinating thing with this movie because everybody flocks to see these guys do some of the stupidest things ever, like the most disgusting, outrageous, vulgar. It's so bad that it's not as good as the second one.
It is kind of a fascinating humor because it's callous humor, and it's like why are we laughing at this? Like these people are actually enduring such pain. There's one thing they did well, the one kind of stunt per se, when there's a whole bunch of midgets.
Oh yeah.
And it's just all reactions, and like it's funny, but like it's just so like random at the same time. So that was good.
Yeah, probably because it has the people in the bar, like like you, the audience, watching these this outrageousness unfold in front of them. They don't know what to think of it, but we know what to think of it because we know it's staged. But
there's one, like, I feel Jackass 3D bases a lot of it, and I know it's always been slapstick, but it's a lot of people just getting hit over the head. Yeah. And as a result, you feel like you're getting hit over the head when it keeps getting repeated and repeated, and it's not funny.
I'm gonna start a rock and roll group.
You've been picked to be in my band.
We don't know how to play.
You don't have to know. What's important is I've chosen you. I'm John.
Paul.
Aaron Johnson, where was he from? Well, this year, actually, he was kicking ass in Kick-Ass, but now he comes in a much more reserved role playing John Lennon in Nowhere Boy. Nowhere Boy, for me, couldn't have came out at a better time. I mean, this month, actually, was John Lennon's 70th birthday, so it feels really important in that sense. But the film isn't over the top, really. It's very modest. It doesn't mean to do a heck of a lot, but it's a plot we've never seen, really, about John Lennon before, and it creates him as a very enigmatic character, not that rock and roll icon we see him as. What's cool about Nowhere Boy is seeing really not the Beatles in their prime, but the becoming, anticipating, knowing that they're going to become this icon. It's about a discovery and about a character really facing sort of events that we never really knew about. And it's not the Yoko Ono phase or anything like that. It's something very, very different and fascinating.
You may cause me
Johnson approaches his role very well as John Lennon. He's very enigmatic, and we've never seen that before. And also, he uses that thick British accent, and he nails it. He sounds exactly like John Lennon at a young age, is how you would perceive that. Also, Thomas Sangster comes in and plays Paul McCartney, and you can really sense that kind of, great camaraderie they have together, and how they're going to make this great band. And it's all about it's like almost, the film is a whole foreshadow for the brilliance that's about to come out of them, and just watching that is very, very cool. We also get a little bit of angle on John Lennon's kind of parent feud he has going on between Marie, played by Ophelia Lovibond, and Kristen Scott Thomas playing his aunt. It tries to provide a very emotional side of the story, which was hit or miss for me. Sam Taylor Wood, it's his feature directorial debut, and it's a very, very modest film, almost too modest, that you really want that movie to expand out. And it does stay in its own little minor state, but it works for what it does. To see it for me, very good movie. There is a time when I was like, especially when they're playing in those musical numbers, like, oh come on, I want this to be like really out there and great. It's just good for me, but solid movie.
Well, I give it a C as well. I think that if it wanted to explode and do that, it may just overdo itself and feel really unbalanced. You know what I mean? So I think the fact that it stays on that low-key approach,
like Across the Universe went really out there. I hated Across the Universe.
Well, agree to disagree. Yeah. But I think that if this film had exploded, it would have been unbalanced and it would have gone literally nowhere, which would have gone with the film's title, but that's about it. Yeah. And the thing I really liked about this movie was I actually liked the melodrama a lot more than you did. I was actually impressed by that one scene where it's sort of the choice that he has to make, where his aunt and his mom are in the same room, and the aunt's explaining everything about what actually happened back in his childhood. And I thought that was really dramatic. It gave me goosebumps, and I was like, I know it's like sort of just explaining things, but for some reason it just got me. Maybe it's because I was so invested in the character of John Lennon that I was like.
I just felt the script itself was it's based on the memoir by Julia Baird, and it's really trying to be emotional, because I feel like the memoir is a very emotional work, and it was providing that side to John Lennon that we'd never seen before. I just feel when it's trying to do that, it doesn't know exactly how to handle it, because we've never seen that side before, and it's a challenging thing for the script to do, and I just feel it missed it for me. It wasn't as interesting, but when that band starts playing, you love it, because I love the Beatles, I love their lyrics, and these songs I hadn't heard of, but you really get the idea of, wow, these people are going to be really, this band's going to be really eloquent and very powerful and very influential.
Yeah, what I really liked about the musical numbers is when he first meets Paul McCartney, he comes into the room, and he plays this fantastic tune, and you're like, that's amazing. Aaron Johnson's like, hey, why don't you go try somewhere else? Yeah. It's like that, oh, well, they're not going to, of course they're going to be together, because at the first sight they see each other, he's actually jealous of his talent, so, them working together would be a great band, obviously, which makes perfect sense, but it reminded me a lot of Singing in the Rain, where they do a whole giant musical number, and they're just like, not bad.
Until I'm starting to drag, the more I'm ready to sag, man, to get to the top, and I'm too tired to rock.
How old are you? 15. When? Last month. Like a dude that Richard is. Sorry, TikTok. Nice to meet you and all.
Never mentioned the actual Beatles, which I thought was great.
Yes.
It's not about the Beatles, it's about John Lennon's story, and it's really well.
And they play off it well. There's a scene when Aaron Johnson's like, oh, I'm going to start a rock and roll band.
And that's
like,
it.
What's it called? And it's just like, and they just kind of, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, something like that. So it's a modest film because these guys are trying to discover themselves. They're kind of insecure. Are they going to be that good? Are they going to be that great? And the film never really says, and the Beatles, they became the Beatles and it was great. And it kind of leaves it open in a very emotional state. And it's about John Lennon. It's not about Paul McCartney. It's not about Ringo Starr. It's about him.